Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fans for yet another edition of WDW After Dark, recording live on Blab, as well as on iTunes. We got podcasts there. We have videos on YouTube, and there you can like and subscribe. You can share to all of your friends and tell them how much of a big Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars fan you are, like the rest of us. Tonight, we will be talking round panel discussion on our favorite underrated Disney films, as well as some Disney headline news. Jeff has got stuff from the parks. Of course, Eric, always armed with Marvel news, and myself with dining and Star Wars news as well. Once again, don't forget to join in the fun. We go live on Blab, and you can join the chat room. All our great action there at blab.im. Just look for WDW After Dark. The best way is to check out our Twitter feed at WDW After Dark, and then you'll be able to get notifications as to when we go live, so you can join in on all the fun. And then also, you can help support our show. Don't forget, we have all of our great shopping links, and hopefully we'll soon have a separate page, so you can simply go to WDW After Dark /shop and check out all of our great links to Amazon. Once again, it's like putting a little tip in our tip jar for what we do every week for you for free. All you have to do is go to WDW After Dark, click on our Amazon link, and there you'll be able to shop to your heart's content. Get everything you need from video games and DVDs, Blu-rays, and Disney, Marvel, and Star Wars gear through our link at Amazon. And we appreciate them for being a day one supporter of our webcast. Also, we've got Marvel's Captain America Civil War opening up this Friday. It's going to be a mega blockbuster, and we want to make sure that you check out the film. Do us a solid. Click the link to Fandango and order your ticket so it doesn't get sold out in your neck of the woods. And last but not least, don't forget to book your next Disney trip, Disney Cruise, Adventures by Disney, even Universal trips, any cruise line, with my wife, Kristen. She is over there at magicaljourneysvacations.com. And there she'll hook you up. She can get on the phone. You heard last week she spent 4 hours on the phone trying to get people the reservations that they needed, because Disney has a very archaic system. But Kristen has got the tech and the patience in order to make it worth their while, just like she did for Jeff Davis just recently. So save money, save time, headache, and horse poop, and go ahead and book your trip with Kristen, and she'll save you money where the others can't, over there at magicaljourneysvacations.com. And now, on with the show.
WDW After Dark, now loading.
WDW After Dark. WDW After Dark. Live and uncensored. Starring Jeff Davis, Aljon Go, Kristen Hetzel, and Eric Allen. WDW After Dark is live and uncensored. Call the hotline at 410-98-WDW-AD. Follow us on Facebook at WDW After Dark Webcast, and Twitter at WDW After Dark. Headline news: Disney food, video games, Marvel and Star Wars. WDW After Dark, live and uncensored. And now prepare yourself for WDW After Dark.
Swig of water. By my Rebels mug. Good times. Welcome back to the show. My name's Aljon Go, lifelong Disney fan, Marvel and Star Wars fan, joined by other fellow fans. This podcast is all about you, and we will happily give you the news that you need to know, all the things you care about. Mr. Eric Allen, Mr. Mighty Marvel Geek. Hello, sir. How are you doing this week?
I'm good. How about you?
Allergies once again, and better internet. Last week's podcast was insane. Captain Insano, insane. I remember doing the Disney discussion last week from the hotel that I was at with crappy internet. And you all were, saying, "Hey, Aljon, are you there?" And I'll be like, dead air, and then I'll come in on a delay. So I'll say, "Go ahead, Eric," and then you would have already started discussion, which was horrible. So today, better internet here at the homestead, and better internet where you're at because you're much clearer, and Jeff is much clearer as well. Jeff Davis, the news monster, how are you, sir?
Doing fine, sir. How are you?
Doing great. And we are joined by some of our folks that are live in the chat room here at Blab. We're going to go ahead and launch into Disney headline news.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are currently holding for further traffic clearance.
Check out Kristen's new website, magicaljourneysvacations.com, for all your vacation needs. Disney, Universal, cruise lines, and more.
Thank you for traveling with us.
magicaljourneysvacations.com. Have her book your magical vacation today. We've got your headlines. WDW After Dark presents Disney Headline News. Let's go ahead and get Eric happening. Couple Marvel tidbits. What do you have there?
Okay, I've got a Marvel tidbit and a Disney tidbit, actually. Of course, the big Marvel story right now is, like you said just a few minutes ago, Captain America Civil War is coming out this weekend, Mother's Day weekend. So take your mother to go see Civil War.
Yes, do that.
But really, I mean, regardless, they're saying, I say they, industry experts are predicting that it could actually break the $200 million barrier for its opening weekend. Now that Jurassic Park did just over that. Star Wars: The Force Awakens did $248 million its opening weekend. Disney is Disney/Marvel is kind of lowballing that just a little bit. They're looking for in the range of 150 to 175. I can tell you right now, though, according to thenumbers.com, worldwide, which means everywhere else around the world other than us, it has raked in over 200 million already. So, yeah, it's off to a very good start, I would think. And the largest overseas markets have not opened it up yet. Critics are also loving this. It's got a 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. Average rating 7.9 out of 10. Out of 132 reviews, 123 call it fresh, rotten 9. But what are you going to do with those 9? They're the ones that wear the scarves and the hats and say, "I hated this before it was cool." So,
hey, even the people from Rolling Stone are coming around to this film.
Yeah, this could very easily be this could be the highest grossing Marvel movie of all time, quite easily.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I know Kristen and I have planned to see it over the weekend, and I hope everyone else does too. I mean, let's support this film, and let's continue to have great quality superhero stories being told on the big screen.
Yeah, I probably will not go see it this weekend simply because the clone is not with me, and I'd like to for the two of us to go see it together.
He may be upset.
Yeah, he he's taller than I am now. He may try to smack me upside the head. Fortunately for me, Dad's still a little bit too quick and sneaky for him still. So
there you go.
But the Disney part news, I guess we transition over to Jeff after this.
Yeah.
This is a late breaking news story. It came out on the Disney Parks blog. Frozen games begin May 27th at Blizzard Beach. Honestly, guys, I am not the biggest fan of the movie on Earth.
You say.
We could call that an understatement. But I cannot believe that it took Disney this long to put something Frozen over at Blizzard Beach. I'm just saying.
It's about damn time.
It is. If there was ever a spot in the Disney parks or on Disney property, rather, that was screaming that would be an appropriate place for Frozen. It would be there. It sure would not be the Norway Pavilion in Epcot, but I'm just a skosh bitter about that. But anyway, moving back to Blizzard Beach, starting May 27th and running through August the 21st, these are Frozen games, kind of like the winter summer games. You will have the opportunity to join Team Kristoff or Team Olaf each day to participate in a variety of winter-themed activities, including ice pail relays, where teams line up and pass pails of water to one another, trying to be the first to fill a container at the end. A quote-unquote snowball toss, where pairs compete in snow-themed water balloon tosses. The ski pole limbo, I'll let you figure out what that means. And slide races that allow teams to race down one of the signature water slides at Blizzard Beach. Olaf and Kristoff will be on hand, appearing on the observation deck near Summit Plummet to take part in the opening closing ceremonies, giving updates on their team's performance throughout the day. And this will be an all-day event that guests can sign up for when they arrive at the park entrance. Now, this is all included with regular admission to Blizzard Beach. So I will give Disney mad props on this one, because this is where that should be.
A tie-in that makes sense.
It is a tie-in that makes sense.
Righto. Well, thank you so much for that update. Once again, follow Eric Uncle Servo on Twitter, as well as at Sorcom Review as well, and listen to him Tuesdays on Sorcerer Radio at 8 a.m., 7 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for all of that. Mr. Jeff Davis, we have more than a teaspoon worth of Disney Park news, do we not?
Yes, we do. So we'll start things with the continuing changes that are happening over at Disney's Hollywood Studios. Overnight, the iconic Earful Tower was removed. Literally, they did it all in one night, bringing an end to the park's original symbol and icon. Now, the tower stood about 130 foot tall and famously had a hat size of 342 3/8 exactly. That's one heck of a hat. The top of the tower weighed 32,000 pounds, and each ear on that tower weighed in at 5,000 pounds. So
32,000 pounds for the head. That's like just 16 tons, isn't it?
Something like that, yeah.
You load 16 tons, what do you get?
Yeah, pretty much. Although it was never designed to actually hold any water, Disney's Hollywood Studios version represented the common side of water towers at, motion picture studios that they've had throughout the years, Warner Brothers, and, so many others in the Hollywood industry. But back in January 2016, Disney announced that the tower would be removed as part of the plans to redevelop the park. As we all know, the area of land that the tower occupied will soon be home to, of course, Toy Story Land. A lot of people of Pixar films and everything else very happy about that. Now, although the tower served as the park's official icon, Disney frequently used various icons throughout the years of the park. You had the Chinese Theater, of course, you had the Hollywood Tower Hotel and promotional material to represent the park. The former Magic Sorcerer's hat that was also part of the park icon as well. For many, many years. So, a few people here and there were upset to see it go. But then, of course, you've got another tower that was erected over Disney Springs as well. Not exactly to take its place. It doesn't exactly look the same or anything else like that. But some things just had to be moved out of the way. So that has happened overnight.
Another end of an era.
Yeah, another one. So hopefully you got your picture while it was still up. You always knew that you were driving by Hollywood Studios when you would see that tower. And
I'll actually miss it.
I will as well. I will. I was hoping that maybe they would put it up somewhere else instead of just, getting rid of it completely. But, Disney is an ever-changing park, whether it comes to Disney World or Disneyland. And we just got to roll with the changes. That's the way it goes.
I wonder where do you think they're going to put that sucker?
They're going to melt it down. That's what they're going to do.
Go to that place every time we go and we take the monorail from to the Magic Kingdom, and we go past the Bay Lake Tower Contemporary Resort. There's always that area over there to the left. It looks like a graveyard of just crap. They decided to just throw right there off the monorail. I'm like, could you pick a worser place to put this? I mean, you're going to a top level resort, and here you have all of this crap you're just trying to push aside. It's like
the scrapyard.
Why-
That's what.
yeah,
it
why
is.
put it there in the scrapyard? You have a bunch of
Yeah.
I don't know. Anyway, I digress. Please continue.
It
So
should
sorry.
be out of view of the public, because to Disney, this is probably it's prop. It's a prop. It's salvage. But as we all know, to fans, it's something completely different. It's more to it, and it's almost like I'm trying to say, like, okay, I really can't go to where I want to go without it being completely gross. It's kind of like seeing a kid's favorite toy in the garbage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
And you know how the little kid is like, it's a toy that the kid never plays with, but God forbid you try to throw that toy away where they can see you do it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And yeah,
Good point.
just a little thought here, Bob Iger. Out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be tucked away, but we digress. Jeff,
What else is new?
I know.
A large section of the construction walls are now down alongside Disney Springs. Alongside the Springs at Disney Springs, offering a first look at the town center. Walls are now down between Raglan Road and Morimoto Asia, with the spring itself and a number of restaurants now clearly being shown. The town center, the largest part of Disney Springs expansion, opens to guests on May the 15th, 2016, with more new shops and restaurants opening through the summer. And after all the years here on After Dark that I've talked about blue water, I finally get my blue water right there at the Springs, because the water is literally blue. So
Oh dear.
Food
Yeah.
coloring, Jeff. Food
Yeah.
coloring.
it's blue. That's all I care about. So,
Oh Lord.
yeah. Later this week, Disney's going to be testing a new feature on the My Disney Experience website. When making a FastPass Plus reservation, guests staying at Walt Disney World moderate or deluxe hotels may be prompted to arrange a Disney Vacation Club open house tour.
Really?
Guests can take up the offer and will receive 3 additional same-day FastPass Plus allocations on completion of the tour, which will be linked to the My Disney Experience account. DVC Open House Tours gives guests an overview of the DVC program and a tour of a DVC villa at Walt Disney World. The tours can be currently booked via DVC agents throughout the parks. You're talking the new villas over the Polynesian and so many other different locations that you can check out. I can only guess that maybe DVC may have taken a little bit of a plunge in the recent years, so that's why they're giving those who are spending a little extra money for moderate deluxe resorts an opportunity to gain some more fast passes and maybe gain a few more shareholders when it comes to the Disney Vacation Club, and get some people to spend some more money while they're on vacation, like they're not spending enough while they're being at a deluxe resort. So be looking for that if you're going to be around Walt Disney World next week. All right, need to talk a little bit about the Animal Kingdom and the nighttime offerings that are going to be offered throughout the next few months and on through the year and everything else. A lot of different changes happening as Pandora, the world of Avatar, continues to be built. There at Animal Kingdom, Disney Imagineers have been adding new offerings and giving you more of an opportunity to stick around the park, not wanting you to treat the Animal Kingdom like a half-day park. So they're now offering nighttime activities for you to be able to do, because, yes, let's be honest, Pandora is going to be a very, very, very popular nighttime area when it comes to the Animal Kingdom, because you're going to have bioluminescent special effects going on in that area that is literally going to light up. And so Disney took that idea and they have expanded it throughout the entire park in so many different ways with new shows and Kilimanjaro safaris. But I figured I'd go through a little bit of Q&A for people who are interested in everything right now that Disney is talking about when it comes to things going on at night. So one of the questions was, when do the nighttime adventures begin at Disney's Animal Kingdom? All this stuff is going to be starting that we're going to talk about on May the 27th. Right now, we've got new park hours as well. A lot of people are not used to going to Animal Kingdom at night. And so Disney's Animal Kingdom is going to be open until 11 p.m. during its first month of extended hours. And typically the park closes around 7 p.m. in previous years in May. That's going to be going until 11, up until around July. And that's the only times that they've given us, up until the part of July. So we'll be watching to see what they do after that. Some people have asked the question, will there be evening extra magic hours? As of right now, no. The extended hours are during regular park hours and are available to all guests. Extra magic hours at Disney's Animal Kingdom will remain in the morning and not at night. So 11 o'clock is all you're going to get. A lot of people don't know what exactly they are going to be offering. As of right now, we've got the Jungle Book Alive with Magic. You've got the Tree of Life Awakenings. You've got Kilimanjaro Night Safaris, Tiffin's, Harambe Wildlife Party, Discovery Island Carnival as well. So there's quite a few things to enjoy, even with the park being open late. And then the other big question that everybody has really been looking forward to, people made Fast Pass Plus reservations on this and so many other things. They asked, what in the world happened to the Rivers of Light? Well, Disney announced back on April the 5th that Rivers of Light would not be open for its planned April 22nd debut. Of course, that has come and gone. And Disney did not give us any explanation whatsoever as to why there is a delay for the show. But the only thing that we can speculate is technical challenges that Disney has had while putting this show together. There is a lot of different, working and moving parts that may not have worked correctly, and they want you to get the very best experience that you can when seeing the show for the first time. Now, to give the team more time to complete the show and have it ready for you guys, Disney announced on April the 19th that they were going to have an interim show for the summer until the River of Light was ready. And that, of course, was called the Jungle Book Alive with Magic. It's expected to perform daily until everything is ready to go. Also, it comes to attractions. What kind of attractions can you enjoy during the extended park hours? You're going to have Kilimanjaro Safari, Expedition Everest, Dinosaur, Kali River Rapids, It's Tough to Be a Bug, Primeval World, Triceratops Spin, The Boneyard, Festival of the Lion King, which will add an extra show at 8 p.m. And then, of course, Finding Nemo the Musical will have a later show at 7 p.m. What attractions won't be available? You'll have Rafiki's Planet Watch, the Pangani Forest Exploration Trail, and the Maharaja Jungle Trek will not be offered. So that's just 3 things. Not that bad, but you've got all this other stuff that you can do during the other hours that are going on. Then there's dining options. What kind of dining options can I enjoy? You can go to Flame Tree Barbecue, Creature Comforts, the Dawa Bar, Discovery Island Kiosks, Harambe Market, Pizza Fari, Rainforest Cafe, Restaurantosaurus, Tamu Tamu, Tiffin's, Thirsty River Bar and Snacks, Trilobites, Tusker House, Yak and Yeti Local Foods, and the Yak and Yeti itself. Lots of different offerings when it comes to nighttime. So now you can dine at night at Disney's Animal Kingdom.
That'll be.
You see where Disney is going with this? Yeah. People were asking, when do reservations open for Tiffin's? As of right now, they will be available on May the 20th this year. So you can start making reservations for that. What about Fast Pass Plus reservations for the Jungle Book? Again, May the 20th for Jungle Book Alive with Magic will be available. Is there any additional cost for the new nighttime experiences? And we're kind of getting a little scared nowadays because here in the past couple of months, Disney has decided to do these little extra things at night that they want you to pay $60, $70, $80 for or $150 for. And so people got a little hesitant. They went, okay, you're offering stuff at Disney's Animal Kingdom at night. How much extra am I going to have to pay for it? Well, the thing is, the extended park hours and the new entertainment, guess what? They're included with the regular park admission. Disney's not going to charge you anything extra for all the things that I talked about, except when it comes to, dining, snacks, stuff like that. But all the other stuff, Rivers of Light, the Jungle Book, Alive with Magic, The Awakening at the Tree of Life, and so many other different things that I've just talked about, all included. So don't worry. Disney wants you to make Animal Kingdom a full-day park. I think they've heard so much over the years. It's a half-day park. You do a couple of things that you enjoy, you leave, and you go somewhere else. That's why lines continue just to diminish at that park as the day goes on. They're bad in the mornings. We all know that. But once you get into the late afternoon hours, it's just not there. So now you've got a reason to stay. You've got so many fantastic things to enjoy, and I hope that you give it a chance. And those are your Disney headlines.
Technically, you already had those reasons. I mean, there are reasons you can make Animal Kingdom a full-day park. It's just nobody does.
Nobody wants to.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have the option. Now they do. So
They do.
That's right.
We shall see how it goes. Thank you for all those great headlines. Really briefly, we'll go ahead and do some Disney dining news since Kristen couldn't be here tonight. Did you know that Fulton's Crab House is being remodeled and opening up as something a little bit different? Paddlefish is coming to Disney Springs on April 4th. Fulton's Crab House had closed down for a refurbishment. Now it's going to be reopening as Paddlefish, and the picture artist rendering is at diningatdisney.com, and it was just posted, and it looks really, really cool. Instead of having the big white treatment on the old boat, it actually has some really nice kind of looking brown paneling. It still has the white trim. It just looks modernized, and I think it looks really, really cool. Not too much is being told about what's new coming to Paddlefish, but if Chef Mark Bohr is still aboard, you can bet that the menu will be outstanding. So no date as to when it's going to open this fall exactly. But I tell you what, log on to that Open Table app or the My Disney Experience app, and you'll get alerted as soon as I guess those things become available. Or you can check out diningatdisney.com. Kristen will tell you all about it. How about this? Cupcake ATMs. We talked a little bit about this before. I know Kristen has, regards to sprinkles. And I am looking forward to this cupcake ATM. Gentlemen, this is the sound of a cupcake ATM kind of, does it sound good? Does it sound nice?
I want a beer ATM.
A
I
beer
don't want a cupcake.
There you go.
Beer ATM. How about that? That'll work.
It'll be interesting to card people at the beer ATM, but verify that ID, son. Put
that ID up against the screen.
That's why your driver's license has that little barcode on it. You put your driver's license in, it verifies that you're good to go.
Well, yeah, I'll make that happen for Jeff.
Yeah, there you go.
You can see a 4-year-old up there with a driver's licenence. I'm getting my beer.
Here, go get Daddy a long neck, will you?
We've seen a lot of weird things happen at Disney.
I know, right? Yeah.
In general. But this ATM holds 400 cupcakes, including dog-friendly ones, okay? And some of the nearly 25 delicious cupcake flavors include banana, carrot, strawberry, red velvet, my favorite, triple cinnamon, Cuban coffee, chocolate marshmallow, and monthly and weekly flavors. So you can get an individual cupcake for $3.75 or $42 for a dozen. This is some pretty expensive cupcakes. This ain't your Publix.
How do you do a dozen from an ATM? Does it just keep depositing? You just got to keep pulling them out? It's kind of like an assembly line.
They probably just they have a distribution center. I don't know. Maybe
they shoot out and you got to catch them in the box. Maybe
there's a little leprechaun hornswoggle in there that makes it happen for you. I know, but there are also
crap! It's a baker's dozen.
They also have vegan and gluten-free, sugar-free cupcakes.
There you go.
Sorbet options in there, but the cupcakes look great. We actually have a Sprinkles cupcake ATM here in Nashville that we're going to go visit soon. So
for research.
Yeah, for research purposes. Yes, research purposes.
That's understandable. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So sign up for Sprinkles Perks Reward, because every time you hit 15 menu items, you'll be able to get 16th one for free. You'll be able to get more info on that right here at diningatdisney.com. But this looks really cool. The Sprinkles Bakery will be open daily from 10 to 12. And the Cupcake ATM will operate daily from 8 a.m. to 2 a.m. Unfortunately, it is not open 24/7 with a flashing sign that says hot and fresh outside.
It should be. I mean, good grief.
That's what I want at 2 o'clock in the morning. I want a cupcake. Give me a cupcake.
Get a dozen. If you have serious munchies, after you've been watching Half Baked maybe.
Yeah, seriously.
You know, you can go over there to the Cupcake. Hey guys, I've got an idea. Let's go to the Cupcake ATM in downtown Disney Springs.
Yeah.
Get a dozen.
You're staggering out of Raglan Road there in the wee hours of the morning going,
Let's
You need
spend.
something to
you
soak
know,
up that
what I
period.
need
That's right.
is I need a friggin' red velvet cupcake.
Yeah. Let's spend 42. Let's drop $42 on.
Yeah, why not?
Red Velvet Cupcake.
What's another $100? What's another $100? Everybody gets cupcakes. Come on, come on.
Everybody gets cupcakes.
Yeah, see.
Be walking up the street at the intersection going, hey, want a cupcake? Yeah, same to you.
It's a gift that keeps giving. Once again, just a quick reiteration: Disney Dining Plan is available. Free dining is available right now. Limited dates, limited offerings. Check
I've
out.
got it.
Yeah, there you go. Jeff got it.
I got it.
That's awesome. So check out once again Kristen's website, diningatdisney.com, or also magicaljourneysvacations.com for more, and book your trip with Kristen today. Take advantage of that. Now we are a day away from May the 4th. Be with you, Star Wars Day. And every year, it's a huge deal for Star Wars fans. I am going to be at work. I'm going to wear my Star Wars t-shirt, and it's going to be really cool. They have a lot of things going. Very nice.
We needed background music for this.
I find your lack of cupcakes disturbing.
Actually,
I'm going to the ATM.
that music goes with May 5th.
Yeah, the Revenge of the
Revenge of the 5th.
or Revenge of the 6th. You know,
Yeah,
it has
exactly.
2 extra days for that.
Yeah, exactly.
But, they do have some deals going on. Just posted at StarWars.com. You will be able to check out discounts for PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, and more, especially for you Disney gamers. I'm excited about this. 50% off Star Wars games, Star Wars Commander, and Galaxy of Heroes. Offer valid through May 4th. Google Play, same deal. Star Wars games and apps, Windows for a limited time. You'll be able to also get that in there as well. Amazon has got Star Wars game content with a special discount and celebration of May 4th. I know that GameStop has got specials on Star Wars and Disney Infinity as well. I just got that newsletter. That's going to be awesome. Now, Steam, for you PC gamers, 77% off this May 4th on great Star Wars games, and they have a ton. And we also have a humble bundle as well. If you like classic Star Wars PC games like TIE Fighter, X-Wing, Galaxy Commander is one of my favorites. You can play those games and support great charities with the discounts and get so many games for a very low price to help charity starting now through May 9th. So you can check out all of that. PlayStation, you can celebrate now. Who's got a PlayStation here? Jeff? Eric? I think Eric's got the PlayStation, right?
I got the PlayStation.
Okay, so do I. So discounts up to 77% on new and classic Star Wars games, including Star Wars Battlefront and Disney Infinity. Offer valid through May 9th. That's great. And we have the Force Unleashed featured in there. And for you, Jeff, you're Mr. Xbox, 77% off select games through the Xbox Store. Offer ends May 9th, and that includes Lego Star Wars as well. Mm-hmm. So a lot of great deals there for you, Star Wars gamers, for Star Wars Day. Also, there is a lot of merchandise that is going on sale too. Build-A-Bear Workshop there, especially downtown Disney at Disney Springs and over there on the West Coast, downtown Disney. You can celebrate May 4th. Build-A-Bear Workshop. You can save on Star Wars Furry Friends. Buy one, get one for $10. That's a huge deal. And I love those Build-A-Bear. Great for the kids. Furry Friends size t-shirt with Star Wars May the 4th logo is a perfect way to celebrate over there at the Build-A-Bear Workshop. Sphero, in honor of May 4th, we'll have the BB-8 for $129. It's on sale. It's through now until May 8th. So that is an outstanding deal. Legos.
I love my Sphero. Get one.
You love your
Get
Sphero?
one.
Yeah, Sphero's fun, right?
I do. Yeah, he's so much fun.
We talked about, how about Hot Wheels? I'm a big fan of their vehicles. They're really cool on the desk. Buy one, get one, 40% Hot Wheels diecast Star Wars vehicles and play sets. And that is offered through the 7th. GameStop, as I said. You'll be able to get exclusive Poe Dameron Marvel comic and a full line of Star Wars accessories there for sale. 20% off and more. Toys R Us has 20% off Lego Star Wars items. I know that Natalie and her son are going to rack up on all the great Star Wars Lego deals that they have. Kids can come by May 7th between 12 to 2 and build a mini Millennium Falcon. I'm sure they're giving that away, a little mini Lego figure. Offer is valid until May 7th for all those other sales. And they even have skateboards in there as well. Walmart, not to be outdone. Star Wars Day is going to be celebrated with a cool Finn costume and Rey costumes. One costume is $4. You can dress up a child, I guess for really low price. I guess you could do that, $4. That's cool. They can play Star Wars in the house and have all that kind of fun running around like a savior of the universe, like they are. 20% off Lego Star Wars products as well. Target $10 gift card when you spend $50. Bed Bath & Beyond $20 off the Sphero BB-8. And then, of course, Marvel. This is great. So you Marvel fans out there, download the app and download 10 $1 comics for Star Wars Day. That's a great deal. The Star Wars comics are amazing, so you need to check those out. You want to try a new series? Check out the new True Believer Star Wars comics available in comic shops, and they're going to be available as well. So many great T-shirts on Uniqlo. That's at UNIQLO. And you can buy 4 of any of the graphic tees and get a 5th free, and so much more. Party City has got a good deal. Kohl's has got deals. Trying to just roll on here. Hallmark has got great deals on ornaments and more. Titan magazines and Star Wars magazines. Joann Fabrics with new sew-on throw kits, including Uncle Milton toys. Her Universe at heruniverse.com. Our friend Ashley Eckstein, she's going to be celebrating Grand Style with a bunch of great sales. Offering you a May the 4th Be With You patch with orders of $25 or more. So there's so much going on. Best Buy will have controllers, $20 Star Wars or $20 off all controllers for Star Wars The Force Awakens themed stuff. So Jeff, you can always get that Kylo Ren or BB-8 controller for your Xbox. That would be pretty cool, and you'll get it for cheap too. There's so much more. You can get all of this and more there at StarWars.com, and we will soon be posting all of these great deals at JediMouseketeer.com. So many, too many to mention. And we will say this too: programming notes for Disney Channel. Perhaps Star Wars, started out as this little independent film, and now it's a huge empire, and there is going to be a huge thing going on. For example, Disney XD will offer a marathon of Star Wars related animated programs, including Rebels and Droid Tales in the entire month, which will be great. Of course, Star Wars Weekends is not happening at Disney parks because it's Star Wars Weekends every weekend at Disney Hollywood Studios. But you can look for more great tie-ins coming in the term of merchandise. You can go shop at the Disney Parks app. You can, I'm sure, get some special merchandise that I understand will be going on sale May 4th for a limited time. And you can pick up that stuff in there as well. You can also check out our link to the Disney store there on the show notes at WDWAfterdark.com. I have sputtered more about Star Wars in the last 5 minutes than any other time in recent history. So I'm going to go ahead and shut up. We're going to go ahead and launch into Disney discussion.
WDW After Dark presents Disney Discussion, a roundtable panel.
Eric, what do we have on tap?
What we are going to be discussing during our Disney discussion segment is our top 5 list of top 5. Of course, it would be a top 5 list if it had top 5 underrated Disney movies. Now, when we say underrated, we mean movies that we feel deserved either a better reception by the critics, a better run at the box office, or both.
Now, are you also including live action as well as
if it was a Disney movie, it's fair game.
Okay.
Under Walt Disney Pictures.
Okay, under Walt Disney
Pictures. I'm not counting Touchstone, not counting Hollywood, not counting Miramax.
No Marvel or Lucasfilm, because we know that Star Wars doesn't count.
No.
Okay, that's good. All right. Who wants to go first?
Fine, I will go.
Okay, I was going to say.
Cowards. All right.
Don't everybody jump at the same time.
My number 5 is Dragon Slayer. It let's see, when did it come out? It came out in 1981. Starring Peter McNichol, Ralph Richardson, Don Hallman, and Caitlin Clark. Now this kind of blurs the lines just a little bit because it's not a pure Walt Disney production, because it was a shared production. It's a co-production between Disney and Paramount. Now, the film was rated PG in the U.S. because it had some elements that were considered controversial at the time, like violence, adult themes, and brief nudity. Now, what's controversial you say about that, you may ask? Well, it's because it was a Disney movie. You don't see boobies in a Disney movie. So, and here's the thing. Disney did not hold distribution rights in the United States. That was Paramount. So it was nominated for the Academy Award for Original Music Score. It lost to Chariots of Fire. It was nominated for a Hugo Award for Best Dramatic Presentation. It lost out to Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was also nominated for the Oscar of Visual Effects. It lost out to Raiders of the Lost Ark as well. Now, personally, I thought it was a good movie. Unfortunately, it didn't do very well at the box office. It grossed just over $14 million in the U.S., and it had an estimated budget of $18 million. Now, $18 million in 1981 dollars, that's still a little something. Rotten Tomatoes gave it a 6.7 out of 10 rating with 86% positive reviews. Its consensus reads, quote, "An atypically dark Disney adventure, Dragon Slayer puts a realistic spin and some impressive special effects on a familiar tale." And Marvel did a comic book adaptation, which appeared in Marvel Super Special number 20.
Wow.
So that is my
that's
number
nice.
5.
Very nice. All right. I like it. I wonder if that's on Netflix. I'll have to check that out. Jeff?
It was on Netflix. Oh gosh, a while back. It's been a few years since it was on there, but it was on there one time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool, man.
It was on there.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff. How about you?
My number 5 takes us back to, I believe. Did I write it down? I did. 1979. And even though it did well at the box office, I believe a little bit over 35 million during that time, it got a lot of cheesy reviews, and it's one of my favorites, The Black Hole, if anybody remembers that.
Wait a minute. Go ahead.
What's that?
I'm looking at my film collection back here. I know it's here.
Yeah. I wish I had a copy of it.
I got it over there somewhere.
There was a spacecraft called the Palomino, I believe was the name of it, and they were coming back from a long mission in space, and they came across a black hole that they wanted to investigate and research and everything else, and they saw another type of space station type of that thing right there. Type of space station literally on the rim of the black hole itself, just sitting there, not going into it and everything else. So they go to investigate, and this whole story turns out got a lot of cheesy reviews, as you do get in the 80s. Some of the special effects were, they were 80s, but a lot of people just didn't like them, I guess, in some ways. But I enjoy it. Like Dragon Slayer, it's one of the movies that I grew up watching. Quite a few times. It was on HBO all the time, or it was on Cinemax all the time back in those days when those channels first started up. And those little robots, I can't remember what their names were.
Vincent?
Their names were.
Vincent,
Thank you. Yeah.
this shows you how much I love this movie and watched it so many times. Vital information necessary centralized. And then he had Roddy McDowall's voice, and the other one, the old beat up one, was Bob.
I remember
Slim
Bob.
Pickens'
Yeah.
voice.
I love that Biosanitation Battalion.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. You know, they wanted something. Disney wanted something to capitalize on Star Wars so bad in '79, just like everybody else did. That's why they rebooted Star Trek for the motion picture. And what a great cast, though. I mean, Ernest Borgnine, Anthony Perkins. I mean, I dug it, and I still watch it to this day. But Roddy McDowall and Ernest Borgnine, I mean, come on, those are some heavy hitters. And the special effects at the time were just really good. But I agree, Jeff. It's a great film. I love it.
Loved it. So that's my number 5.
Well, I'll go ahead and say that's my number 5 because I to later on say it because it's actually higher in my list, but I'll go ahead and put that in there because I don't want to revisit this again. This is great. It's a great film.
Oh, fine. You're going to make me do that too.
In no particular order this week.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Can you believe they made that film for $20 million?
Yeah.
Good Lord.
Hard to believe.
You know what?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. At $20 million. Now that's not considering the $6 million they spent on the advertising budget. That was at the time the most expensive movie Disney had ever made.
Crazy.
Oh, yeah. That's
crazy.
All right.
And it was the first one in which characters cussed in a Disney movie.
Oh yeah. How about that? I like that.
And as a result, it was the first Disney movie to get a PG rating.
Oh, how about
there you
go. I like it.
It is that movie that started a process that resulted in Disney creating Touchstone and Hollywood Pictures.
That's right.
Wow.
So they could market movies that were more adult than what could really get away with under the Disney Pictures ones.
Sure.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. Go figure.
They were going to do a remake at one time, but they
Benicio del Toro, I think, was involved with it.
Yeah, absolutely. That would have been really.
It never
cool.
came to
that
be, though.
would have.
They
would
would
have been really cool to see. So, well, I guess we all are there. Well, Eric, that is your number 4, I guess.
That we'll call it my number 4 then.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah.
Why not? And we're back, I guess, to Jeff. So, Jeff, what else do you have?
Number 4. Okay, number 4 is actually a recent movie that did put out that did not get a lot of love at all. Let me look up the date here just to make sure I'm getting it right here. Actually came out last year, back in November. The Good Dinosaur did not get a lot of love at all at the box office, but I don't think Disney gave it enough advertising that they should have. Kind of like the way I feel with the Jungle Book. I don't think Disney did it right on advertisement when it came to promoting the Jungle Book. They did it last minute. Yes, they did it at the Super Bowl as, an ad and everything else, but they did it the last week, full-fledged, out there as far as advertisement goes. But The Good Dinosaur, I loved. It was a great movie, fantastic characters, really great family moments, funny moments in the movie and everything else. That's my number 4. So,
you know what I think the problem with that was it was delayed in production, and it swapped opening dates several times over. But I think too that was the same year. I think Monsters Inc.
Monsters
University had come out, and also Inside Out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'm wrong. I'll have to.
Inside Out came out in June. Mm-hmm. And let's see. I believe Monsters Inc. was a little bit earlier. I want to say 24. No, Monsters University was 2013.
Okay, I'm sorry. So as last year goes, it's funny. The way divisions work typically, and I know this is true for Disney, is that they put a lot of their promotional dollars, and instead of deciding, should it be one film or two films? They'll usually hedge their bet and go with the biggest film. Of course, Inside Out was a huge hit for them, breaking the top 10, films that Disney has ever made in terms of box office. But I think they ended up putting so much promotional dollars into that film and not so much on The Good Dinosaur because of several different things. They just felt that it was a stronger film. And, they're also hedging their bets against Star Wars because, Star Wars was opening up a few weeks later. So, it was kind of a thing, so I don't know. Excuse me, guys. Okay, now for me. So my number 4 is actually a superhero film, and it took place, it was released in 2005. It's called Sky High. And
I remember that, yeah.
I think this
I
film
remember that as well.
Cute Disney film. I think it could have done a lot better at the box office at the time. It had a budget of $35 million. It only made $86.4 million. But I believe this was 3 years before they ended up buying Marvel. I think this was going to be something that they were going to try to start a series of films, much like the Mighty Ducks, much like the films with the other Disney stars, whether it be, Camp Rock or High School Musical.
Sure.
I think they were going to try to start a more young male targeted thing. And that could have even come across onto Disney Channel in a series and things like that. Kurt Russell and Billy Preston are older superheroes that have kids that go to high school. Does this sound familiar with superpowers?
Yeah.
It's kind of derivative. I think maybe you've seen this kind of stuff happen before, especially now with TV shows like Lab Rats and things of that nature. But you have a couple of great stars in this film. Danielle Panabaker, who is known to be in a few different shows like Bones and Arrow. She was in this movie, and she was great. And then you also have Linda Carter as Principal Powers, Wonder Woman, which is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think this film has a lot of heart, and I think that the plot is pretty cool. It's about ninth grade kids just discovering their powers. You have speed powers, flexibility powers, a cheerleader that can clone herself, and how they get along, and how they're trying to keep their identity secret, yet still go to school, and keep an average life as it were. So I think
doesn't it have Bruce Campbell as the bus driver?
I don't remember.
Maybe I'm looking here. Yes, Bruce Campbell. Yes, Sonic Boom.
Yes,
he is a bus driver. Yes. Cloris Leachman is in there as well. Dave Foley is the All-American boy. Kevin McDonald is Professor Mandula. Tom Kenny's in there as Chester Timmerland. There's so many great people in this movie. But once again, you have a Disney actor of the scope of the range of a Kurt Russell in here. And, he was handpicked by Walt Disney himself as being one of America's great actors. And he's had so many great movies like The Miracle, which is also a Disney film, by the way. If you're into hockey like we are. But I think this movie has got a lot of heart, and it's worth watching, especially as a family film. So there you go. Sky High 2005. I believe it's also on Netflix.
Cool.
Who's next? Eric, we're back to you. Jeff?
Oh, we're back to me. Okay. All right. My number 3, which originally was my number 4, I'm going to say Atlantis, the Lost Empire. And that, let's see, when did that come out? That came out. Oh, crap. I didn't write that down. Okay, hang on. Atlantis, the Lost Empire, 2001. And this is one that I believe was worked on at Disney's Hollywood Studios back when it was Disney MGM. Now, let's you talk about casting for Sky High. Let's listen to the cast here. You had Michael J. Fox, James Garner, Leonard Nimoy, Phil Morris, Don Novello, Claudia Christian, Jacqueline Obradors, and in his final role as before his death, Jim Varney. There's also John Mahoney, the dad from Frasier. He was brought in as a last-minute replacement for the role of the millionaire because they had originally cast Lloyd Bridges as God, I wish I could remember the guy's name. Whitmore. That's him, Whitmore. Just imagine Whitmore with Lloyd Bridges' voice, because that's what it was supposed to be. Now, for one thing, it was a derivative. It was not a derivative. It was inspired by the works of Jules Verne. So there was a big 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea feel to it. It began production after production of The Hunchback of Notre Dame, to give you a time frame. But rather than going with another musical, they decided to go for like an action adventure. They wanted almost like a movie, an animated comic book kind of thing. Some critics praised them for going outside of the singing warthogs motif. Others criticized them for going outside of the singing warthogs motif. It was budgeted at $100 million. The film grossed over $186 million, so didn't do very good at the box office. And because of that, Disney canceled a spin-off TV series, which they sent out as a direct-to-video movie as Milo's Return. They also scrapped plans to redo the old 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea ride at Disneyland to retheme it as Atlantis. It was nominated for a number of awards, including 7 Annie Awards, and won the Best Sound Editing at the 2002 Golden Reel Awards. I just think it really deserved better.
Right on.
All right.
Good list. Good list so far. Is it my turn? Is it Jeff's turn?
No, I think it's Jeff's.
Yeah, heavy.
Okay. All right. Number 3 for me takes us back to November 26th, 2003, starring Eddie Murphy, and based off of a classic Disney attraction you can enjoy both at Disneyland and Disney World, everything else, The Haunted Mansion.
Oh, man.
A lot of Disney fans were very, 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 very critical of this movie.
I still am.
Which it did have some good moments in it that referenced the attraction itself. As far as one of them was Madame Leota, played by Jennifer Tilly. She did a fantastic job. A little more of a comedic role.
She did.
Than what you would expect from Madame Leota when you see her on the attraction. But she did a fantastic job on that. And then, the ghosts, different scenes,
We lost Jeff.
Oh, snap.
From them
What
dancing.
did you think about the Haunted Mansion?
Oh, did I lose you guys?
We lost. Yeah, we lost.
Yeah, but you're back now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right.
So finish your thought, please.
Okay, so Madame Leota as Jennifer Tilly, comedic role in some portions. We're not used to Madame Leota looking like that and joking and everything. We're used to her saying the same thing over and over again in very dark rooms and stuff like that. The ghosts, different scenes of them dancing and everything else, and certain areas, reference the attraction. Also, the singing statues in the graveyard also reference. Love those things. They did a fantastic job with that. But so many people were very critical of the actual story of Gracie Manor, what it was all about, and just so many other different things that Disney fans just did not like about this movie. Now, I mean, itself, it raked in about $182 million. And as far as they did $24 million on its opening weekend. but it did better in foreign markets and overseas and in different places. It did a lot better than what it did in the US. They say that the film gained more than a quarter of the earnings of its theme ride predecessor, Pirates of the Caribbean: Curse of the Black Pearl, which is actually a huge surprise to me. But big surprise. But we just didn't fully understand what Pirates of the Caribbean was to become, and the huge smash that it is now today. Mm-hmm. But I still know a lot of the lines of that movie. I've watched it multiple times. It has been on Netflix as well, and I've always made sure to watch it. I don't own it, but I do love some of the scenes. So that's my number 3, The Haunted Mansion.
Amazing.
My favorite line from that movie is when they're trying to drive through the gates and back into the house.
Yeah,
and you see Leota just like strapped in with the seatbelt on the front seat, and Murphy goes, "Hang on." She goes, "With what?"
And she's so serious when she says it.
Yes,
she's very serious. Yeah.
I'm so interested in the fact that you think that this is an underrated film, but I mean, I understand it. You like the park aspect probably the most. The tie-in.
Yeah, I do like the park aspect. The tie-in with Disney parks and everything was fantastic. But the reason I think it's so underrated is because how critical people were, and they wanted it to be exactly like the attraction that they would enjoy in Disneyland or Walt Disney World. So many Disney fans wanted that, and that's not what they got. They kind of got an alternate storyline to the mansion itself, and that's what they didn't want that.
Although there is a fair amount of humor and camp involved, I think, in the attraction.
There is.
I mean, it's a lot of it is tongue in cheek, especially for adults. But and I don't blame Eddie Murphy at all.
No,
not for it. But I think the story was a little lackluster to my recollection. But this coming from a man who does not like Aristocats, from last week, I'll never let you forget that. The fact that you don't like Aristocats.
Aristocrats.
That hurts, Jeff. That really hurts. You like this, but you don't like Aristocats. Aristocats like that one. Classic. Yeah. All right. My number three. Already number 3? Yeah. Okay. Yes. My number 3, and I think fans can agree or disagree with this, but it's a more recent film as well. It's 2007's Meet the Robinsons. And Kristen and I love this film for so many reasons. The fact that it is an homage to Walt Disney, keep moving forward. The fact that, there are so many great character voices in this film, the likes of Tom Kenny and Angela Bassett, Adam West, Tom Selleck, Nicole Sullivan. I mean, there's so many comedic actors in this film. Music by Danny Elfman. This to me is a very fun movie. Now, I say it's underrated, but the fact of the matter is, at the box office, it raked in $169.3 million. So, there's a lot to be said. However, it wasn't necessarily highly lauded, not just at the box office. 169 is 3 million, 169 million actually. It's not a laughing number at all. But there was some critical feedback, blowback. There was a canceled sequel to be done at that time. But Walt Disney Studios and animation was undergoing a lot of changes at this time. It was released by Walt Disney Pictures. It was a 47th animated feature. They were looking at doing 3D digital films and still doing some maybe hand-drawn films like Princess and the Frog that came out a little bit later. So there was a little bit of transition going on. And I think this also had a little bit of a complicated matter as well, because it was the first film released after John Lasseter became chief creative officer of Walt Disney Studios. So this is kind of, the last of that era pre-John Lasseter, So, but I think it's great. I mean, it's a heartwarming story, a misfit, a science geek that didn't know where he fit, and he finds a family that is just as crazy as he is where he fits. And time plays a role. Mysterious bowler hat guy comes in, science fair happens, craziness ensues as a result, and it comes down to family? What is family? How do you fit in this world? And I think there's a really great heartwarming story here as well. And people should really give it a look. I think it's a forgotten classic, and there's a lot of tie-ins to the parks in terms of the vision of tomorrow, Tomorrowland, and what Walt Disney envisioned for that future involved in this movie. And it's a lot of fun in there as well. So Meet the Robinsons from 2007. There you go.
Good movie.
I like it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So we're on number 2s now.
Number 2,
Yeah.
Dose.
My numero doso is Treasure Planet. You knew this was coming in sooner or later, from 2002. Now, it got overall pretty well critical reception. It got a 69% rating on Rotten Tomatoes. However, it just didn't do well at the box office. And you could say, well, maybe it's because of the marketing. Maybe it wasn't marketed right. And there's an argument that could be made for that, because it cost $140 million to make, and it only raked in $38 million in the US and Canada. And worldwide, it only came in at just under $110 million. It was nominated for 2002 Academy Award for Best Animated Feature, but it lost out to Spirited Away. Go figure. Now, if you've never seen this movie, you are really missing out, because it is it's a beautiful blend of computer-generated animation and hand-drawn animation. As a matter of fact, the cyborg character of Silver, he himself is a blend. His arm was done computer-generated, whereas the rest of it was hand-drawn. And they used some footage of Peter Pan to test out the arm, because they basically said, okay, well, here's some clips of Captain Hook. We're going to animate this arm onto him. And it turned out really good. Unfortunately, not only did just not do well at the box office, it also killed plans for a sequel. Because before the movie was released, they start working on Treasure Planet 2. Now, in this sequel, Jim Hawkins and Kate, that's his girlfriend at the Academy, must team up with Long John Silver to stop the villainous Ironbeard from freeing the inmates of the Botany Bay prison asteroid. And William Dafoe was already set to voice Ironbeard. So, again, it's one of those movies that it's beautiful. It's an interesting adaptation of Treasure Island, which itself was Disney's first live action movie. But just people never seem to get it, and so people didn't go see it at the theater, and so that's why it's my number 2 on the list.
I love the animation of that movie.
Yes,
that style is so cool. It's
I've never seen it.
Very steampunk. Wow,
dude,
yeah.
You need to see it.
Never
I
seen
think
that
it is
movie
on
at all.
Netflix. I think it's on Netflix.
I think it is too.
Huh.
I think it is too.
Wow.
That film also had the distinction of being released post 9/11. And there was a lot of stuff they edited out in terms of guns, right? As far as I remember, they came in, they had guns, and they were shooting up guns and stuff, and it all of a sudden became swords, and they kind of edited a few things out because of references to guns and things of that nature. So I think the film was a little neutered in the version that we received as the public, and it's a shame. There was a lot of Disney films that came out around that time that nobody saw, and I think that was just. And as we talked about last week, especially with that development of that theme park ride with the overlay for the Nautilus, for Treasure Planet. That could have been really cool. Really,
There's so much that they could have done with that attraction. I think they took it down prematurely. You've referenced a couple of movies now, Eric, that both could have gone with that attraction. They could have, just pulled the props that are inside the water, drained the thing, pulled the props, and redid the submarines themselves and everything in some form or fashion. It could have turned it into a whole lot something a whole lot better. I mean,
I think it will work better with Atlantis rather than Treasure Planet. But
yeah, true. I don't know. That's kind of now that I think about it, that's kind of depressing because I used to love that attraction and going on. It's just wonderful, absolutely wonderful.
there you go.
Yeah.
That's depressing.
Well,
All right. Let's see. Is it my turn?
number 2.
Jeff? Me? Jeff? Who's that?
Yeah.
I get
Jeff.
lost. I'm sorry, guys. People are like, Aldrin,
Okay.
I can't keep track. And I'm like, no, I love this discussion so much. I'm like getting lost in it. So
My number 2 is from back in 2012, film called John Carter. John Carter.
I was wondering this would show up.
Yeah. I loved the movie myself. I thought it was fantastic. Marketing wasn't all that great when it came to this thing. Did not get a good reception. Box office wise, it earned about $73 million in North America, and
Wow.
again internationally, it got $211 million in other countries. So a total as of June 28th, when it left theaters, $284 million is what they got. Now, the week following John Carter's domestic release, movie industry analysts predicted that Disney would lose about 100 to 150 million on the picture itself. Which is too bad. Which is really too bad. I kind of chalk it up a little bit to poor acting and a little bit of away from some characters. At times, a little hard to keep up with the movie itself. But ultimately, it was a good fantasy. I enjoyed it. I've watched it many, many, many different times. But and it's one of my favorites as far as sci-fi type movies that Disney has done in the past that I've really enjoyed. So I put John Carter at number 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that one could have gotten my honorable mention for sure. That was yeah.
That was the only one I have left on the list. So
Wow, that's your number 1, Eric. What are your thoughts on number 1?
Well, actually, Black Hole was my number 1, but this was my number 2. But
Nice.
no, I think really what it is that marketing really dropped the ball with it. The director, Andrew Stanton, great director, but I think he approached the whole. He had the final say on advertising. And I think he approached it with the idea that John Carter was more of a household name than really he was.
Yeah.
And so, they're really, and we saw it in the ads. It was just John Carter. That's it. There was no like
John Carter for
the
Mars.
most that we got out of the teaser was, lost in his world, found in another, or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And really, it just, I think that perspective, because they didn't go to the, hey, we want to introduce this character to the current generation.
Yeah.
I think that's what doomed the whole thing.
You're right with the marketing on that film. I mean, the cryptic posters that they used to tease the film said nothing.
Yeah.
Said absolutely nothing. And then they made the film way too long. I
Yes.
think you and Kristen, Jeff, had said, do you think the next Star Wars movie is going to be a 2.5 hour movie? And I don't think that's going to be the case. I think Disney wants to cram as many people in for the blockbuster movies, and they're going to make it under 2 hours, and which they did for Star Wars for sure. That's why they edited out so much. Star Wars this last time, but they made John Carter too damn long, and
long movie. Yeah.
it's a very hard movie to sit through. and there's a lot of pacing issues. Now, is it to me, John Carter is equivalent to Star Trek: The Motion Picture, because
Yes,
I love
yes.
Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Not a whole lot of people do, but I love it because it is a lengthy movie and there's a lot of grandiose special effects. At the time, it was great. And once again, the same goes for John Carter. Like, visually stunning.
Mm-hmm.
The airships and the scenes and the battle scenes are amazing. Great acting.
Yes, they are.
There's no doubt about that. You had Willem Dafoe, for heaven's sake, was playing like the king of the aliens or whatever, and he was great. So it's nothing wrong with that. And was it Andrew Stanton who was doing the film? I mean, he is
Andrew Stanton
applauded. I think he is also one of your favorite directors. I think it was involved with The Incredibles, was he not?
No, that was Brad Bird.
Brad Bird. Okay.
Andrew Stanton was Wally. And let's see, what else was he involved with? Wally and crap. No, he didn't. He didn't direct crap, unless you want to count this. Let's see.
While you think about it, marinate on that. TXJ, our friend TXJ McDermott in the chat says John Carter, yes. And then Rick also said, great point. Marketing department perceive fans were as knowledgeable as the writers, and that's not always the case. And I think that's where it went wrong. And of course, part of the marketing, especially during Super Bowl Sunday ads, was, for the man that inspired Star Wars, or from the a film or a story that inspired Star Wars. Now see what the buzz is about with John Carter, something to that effect.
Finding Nemo.
Finding Nemo, yes.
Finding Nemo. And here's the thing. He is the one that talked the Walt Disney Studios into reacquiring the rights from Edgar Rice Burroughs' estate. Disney had it at one time, but they gave it up, or they sold it off. And it just, Paramount had one on it, and just other people. It went through many hands, but that was it. And Stanton lobbied Disney under the pitch of Indiana Jones on Mars.
Yeah.
Now that would have been cool to see.
I agree. Did I mention my number 2 yet?
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
No.
I was just curious. I'm going to try to move this along so Blab doesn't cut us off. My number 2 film, and I was going to mention Black Hole in here. We mentioned it earlier. Go back to the beginning of this webcast, if you want to hear our thoughts on the top 5 underrated films. But I'm going to go ahead and put this one up, and I'm going to say Disney's Flubber. I'm obviously, we're huge fans of Robin Williams. Who isn't? I don't think you can be a fan and not have a exorbitant amount of love for this man, Robin Williams. And this is a comedy film remake of The Absent-Minded Professor from 1961. In 1997, they remade Flubber. Once again, I love this film. Robin Williams makes it worth watching, and I just love every little bit of it. The humor, the laughs, I say this a lot, and I'm sorry, I apologize. The heart, the fact that still over there at the Journey into Imagination, they still pay tribute to his character there. I think is really cool. Professor Philip Bernard of Medfield College, and Weebo, voiced by Jodie Benson. And for those of you that don't know who Jodie Benson is, she is the redheaded Little Mermaid, Ariel, the voice. And I think it's really neat. And so do yourself a favor, check out Flubber. The budget was $80 million. It only raked in at $177.9 million. I can't tell you how many films would like to have that type of box office draw now. Is it underrated? I think it gets lost in the shuffle. So maybe forgotten to a certain degree. Of course, the fondness that the Disney fans have because of the Disney professors that are in there are great. And of course, a lot of really good brainy actors were thought of to be cast in the role of Philip Bernard. How about Jeff Goldblum? Can you imagine Jeff Goldblum playing the same role he always plays in every show that he does? Or Patrick Stewart, or Christopher Lloyd, John Lithgow, you know? So those are just some people that were, thought of to be cast. I think that would have been interesting to see Patrick Stewart in there. Christopher Lloyd's kind of a funny thought too, as well. There's a lot of different gags as well. There are gags in there. John Hughes from Home Alone rewriting the screenplay. Let's see. Will Wheaton was cast because he resembles Tommy Kirk, the film in 1961. That's an interesting tidbit. Steven Spielberg considered being in the film's executive producer. That's an interesting too. As a cloud disperses, when they're flying through the clouds, there's a reference to E.T. that can be seen. Of course, directed by Spielberg, so there's a little bit of that in there as well. So, it didn't score very well in Metacritic. Eric often references the Metacritic and Rotten Tomatoes score. This was like 37 out of 100 and a 23 approval rating Rotten Tomatoes. And I'm curious, for those of you who've seen Flubber, what do you think of Flubber? Did you like the film? Did you think it was funny? Did you think it sucked? Honestly.
Good movie. Yeah.
It's good. Awesome.
Yeah. Very good movie.
Very good. There's a lot of people who agree with that. So that's great. Moving on to our number one, or at least one of five, in not so in random order. Who wants to go first on their number one?
I'll go first. I have
Okay.
no
Right, Jeff.
problem with it.
I've already gone through my list.
You got through your list. Go ahead.
This takes us back to the year 1983, and this was based off of a Ray Bradbury book. I'm sorry. And the film was called Something Wicked This Way Comes. And just to give you a small, just kind of base as to what it was about, two young boys in this very small town in Illinois came across and heard about a traveling carnival. Will Holloway and Jim Nightshade were the two boys, and it was called Mr. Dark's Pandemonium Carnival. And from the get-go, they could tell this was not your everyday type of carnival. Some very, very, very dark things were going on with the lead of the carnival, Mr. Dark himself. Some of the stuff that went on where you change your age based on the direction that you go on the Ferris wheel. And you can see what your younger self looks like by gazing into a mirror. And so many other different things that were going on with this film. Now, when you talk about a film actually bombing, this one really bombed. The film only made $8.4 million at the box office, and it cost $19 million to make the film, grossing less than half of the cost on that film. But the story itself, you think of Ray Bradbury, there are so many fantastic books that man has done, so many fantastic films that have been done based on his books. And I'm sorry, I've got the DVD. I've watched it so many different times. Absolutely love it. It's hard to do dark like that, but they did it in so many great ways, so many fantastic ways that I never thought were possible at that age, especially when it had the word Disney in front of it. And, man, good movie for its time. And for it to literally bomb the way it did was unfortunate. Disney lost a lot of money when it came to that. Yeah.
Right on. And capping off at number one, and yes, I'm glad you're mentioning Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Yes, that is United Artists. I think we were talking about that British film on a podcast not too long ago. Were we not?
No, may have been.
Cars, talking about cars.
It just seems like a Disney movie at the time.
It really does. It really does.
Maybe it's Dick Van Dyke being in it. I don't know.
That has a lot to do with it, I'm sure. I thought it was a Disney film for the longest time when I was a kid growing up, but yeah, it is not a Disney film, as mentioned. My last one is actually kind of a surprise. Once again, I think a lot of Disney fans forget about this film. It's The Fox and the Hound. And 1981, It signaled a little bit of a change once again in Disney animation as the nine old men started transitioning away from doing feature animation to a lot of the newer class of Disney animators. Great voice cast. What is about me and Kurt Russell? I don't know. I like Snake. What can I say? Kurt Russell, Mickey Rooney's in it. There's a bunch of other a young Corey Feldman in it as well, and music by Buddy Baker. Great music. I actually like the music quite a bit. It was made for $12 million. It only made $63.5 million at the box office, and as I said, it just the nine old men did the initial development, but it moved into the younger animators in the process. The Disney company was also going through a transitionary time, but some of the people that ended up animating this film, happened to be some of the biggest people in animation today. John Lasseter, John Musker, Glenn Keane, Tim Burton, Ron Clements, Brad Bird, Chris Buck, Henry Selick, Mark Donati, and the list goes on, or Mark Dindal, the list goes on and on. So this really does play an important part of that Disney renaissance. And animator Don Bluth declared Disney's work stale and walked out with 11 others to form his own studio during this time.
How'd that work out for you, dude?
Yeah, how about that, Don Bluth?
You're on The Land Before Time 37 now, right?
Yeah, American Tail. Like yeah. And you can tell, Don Bluth and his, American Tail and Dragon's Lair, as Jeff mentioned earlier, Anastasia, those type of Land Before Time, those kind of things. That was an interesting time. So, but of course, that wouldn't have happened if people like John Lasseter, as I said, Glenn Keane, Tim Burton, Brad Bird, those kind of people wouldn't be in the mix if it wasn't for that. So, in a way, we can thank Don Bluth for walking out. Well, thank you, Don Bluth, for walking out, because what do I like better? Do I like John Lasseter and the rest of his world, or I like Fievel and American Tail? I don't know. You take your pick. I hate to say that, but critics were also a little bit mixed on the film. Leonard Maltin said it seems to be a little bit formulaic, but Roger Ebert, of course, renowned film critic for the Chicago Times, says it's all familiar qualities. The movie marks something of a departure for Disney Studio, and the movement is in an interesting direction. It earned a 69% rating on Rotten Tomatoes with a score of 6.6 on Metacritic. I think once again, the story is one that children can enjoy, but I think at the very basis of the film, there's a lot that can be said about adults and how we look at our roots and how different things affect who we become, and as we are faced with life-changing situations and how we view others. How it can be a reflection on where we are as adults today as we live. I think that is a really interesting story to tell. And I think still, if I watch it today, I'll probably get emotional when I watch it, because it was one of the very first films I think I remember watching that was a Disney film when I was a kid. As my dad brought home, 8mm movie and rented it from the library. I think we ended up watching The Fox and the Hound. So I have a lot of fond memories about that. So anybody else to say about The Fox and Hound? Anybody?
Well,
I think it kind of gets lost, but awesome.
It's one of those movies that that kids, if you're under a certain age, you get one story out of it, and if you're over that certain age, you get a totally different one.
Totally. Yeah, it has a lot of layers. Speaking to the audience, I think the adults that take the children absolutely get that feeling. And I remember watching Fox and the Hound again a few years back, revisiting it, and thinking to myself, "Wow, this movie's deep. I mean, this is really, really deep." And I think the message still speaks to this day. I think it's very, very topical. And, we don't ever talk about politics for a good reason on here, because we want to get away from that here on the show. But it's a very topical thing, and I don't believe it's too preachy at all. But decide for yourself. What do you think? What are your top 5 underrated Disney films? Live action animated, computer animated? Who knows? And we could have even did a top 10 if we really wanted to. But
Yeah.
I tell you, there's so many great films to talk about. But gentlemen, I tell you, we had great Disney discussion, news, and commentary as always. It's a pleasure to sit down with you every week and talk Disney. This has been an awesome episode. I love our top fives that we do. I go back and listen to them all over again. They're wonderful shows. Eric, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Uncle Servo and also at Sorcom Review. You can also check out the Sorcom Review's Facebook page at facebook.com/Sorcom Review.
Thank you. Jeff Davis.
On Twitter at Jeff Davis _75 and also at DW _60 over in the Sorcerer Radio Disney Fun Zone on Facebook and the DW60 Facebook page as well.
Very good. Follow Kristen and myself. WDW Tiki Room is our Twitter. We have a Captain America Civil War live panel with stars coming out later on this week. It's great to hear from the stars Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, and of course the Iron Man himself, Robert Downey Jr. It's going to be an awesome panel. And you get to sit in, much like we did bring you that presentation for the Disney summer activities that happen on Tiki Room. So once again, follow our sister podcast at WDW Tiki Room. Also, Kristen at diningatdisney.com, me, JediMouseketeer.com, and always like and subscribe WDW After Dark. Tell your friends, YouTube, Stitcher Radio, TuneIn app, YouTube, so many ways to consume, and of course join us for the live show. We happen to do this live on blab.im every single Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, or I'm sorry, 8 p.m. Central. So check that out there, and for more details, follow us on social media at WDW Tiki Room on Twitter, and the rest all at WDWAfterDark.com. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget, it's better after dark. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Yeah.